All right, so now for this, for showing the updated menu item in real time without changing the screen or doing anything. For this thing, we have two options. One is now what would happen if we change anything from here? It should change on this screen, then it should change on home screen. And if we have those items added in this cart, let's say this soda, this is 1.49, and I go to this manage menu items. Where is soda? It is here. Let's say instead of 1.49, I make it 1.29. If I save it now, what should happen? It should update the price here 1.49. It is still 1.49. It should update the price here on this screen, main screen, and then it should update the price in this current order screen as well. Okay, so there are three different places, three different pages and components, the controls. So we need to somehow pass the updated information at three different places. Okay. So for this, we have one approach where we can have some centralized class to manage this state, where we will define, let's say, an event. Okay, and on these three places we will simply subscribe to that event change. We will add event handlers, and then we can react to the change. If that change is there, we will simply check if that item exists on this screen, then we will simply modify it. Okay, and in .NET MAUI we have something called WeakReferenceMessenger, which is coming from community toolkit. So we can use that. That is kind of same thing, subscribing and publishing events. Okay, it calls messages. So subscribing and publishing messages. So we'll use that WeakReferenceMessenger for this. Okay, so first thing we need one message type for this. Okay, so that is going to be a simple model class. So in this models, let's create a class. We'll call it menu item changed message. Menu item changed. This name is up to you. You can name it whatever you want. What happened? Yeah. Now we'll make it public, and this should be a subclass of value changed message, which will come from community toolkit.mvvm.messaging.messages. Now this is a generic type. We need to provide type of the message which we are going to publish, and in this case this is menu item changed, so we'll be publishing menu item model. Okay, now we are good, our class is ready, but this is an abstract class. Sorry, not abstract class. This has this constructor, parameterized constructor. So we need to define this constructor here. Let's define it. So menu item changed value and this value. All right. Now whenever we want to publish the message, we will use this, and when we are receiving the message, then also we are going to use this. Here let's create one static factory method, public static, and it should be, the return type should be this only, menu item changed message. I'll say from menu item model value, and from here I will just call this only. So this is just for convenience that we can easily use .from instead of creating new menu item changed. Okay, now let's go to our view model, manage menu items view model, because here this is the place from where we are saving the creating or updating a menu item, right? So edit menu item is saying, save menu item is saying. Here this is the success success message, success case. So here what we will do, maybe after this post.make or maybe before this, here we can say weak reference messenger from community toolkit.mvvm.messaging dot default dot, here we have a send method. So using this send we can pass our message, key message. So this message should be this type, menu item changed message. So from here we have new new menu item changed message, and then pass this model. One is this, but instead of writing this thing, I created this helper method. So I like these things, I don't like to write this new, that's why I did this. So here I can say menu item change message dot from this model. So these are essentially same. So now from here we are sending this message to WeakReferenceMessenger. Sending part is done. Now we need a place where we want to receive this message. So whenever we are sending this message, there should be one subscriber to this. Okay, so we'll register that subscriber and we'll receive that message and we'll modify the UI accordingly. So first, on this page also we need to update the UI for this. So we have this menu items collection. We need to modify this. So for this, we don't need to use weak reference messenger. It will be for other parts of the application. So on this page, we can simply create a helper method. Private void, let's say on menu item change, your handle menu item change, something like this. Okay, here we will handle this and we'll get a parameter menu item model, and we will call this from here handle menu item changed, and we'll pass model to this. So inside this else case, I guess first thing we should display this toast, then we should update this current page, then we should send this message to weak reference messenger so that other parts of the application can update the UI, and then simply reset it. So this makes sense now. Now in here, first thing we will check if this model with this we are saying if this actually exists on the screen right now. What I mean is, if we run this, because the left screen on manage menu items page, it belongs to one category. It shows items of one category. What if in the edit form we have item from some other category? So what I mean is, let's say I am on here, I am editing this soju, this is from beverages, but right now I'm on snacks page, but I still have this edit. So if I'm saying this instead of 3.99, let's say 3.49, and I save it, this time it should not update this thing, right? Because this item is not on this screen right now. So there's no point of updating anything or checking anything. If I was on this screen only and at that time I was modifying it, then it should check and update this accordingly. Okay, so let's do this. First we will check if our menu items, which is the list of menu items on this page, this contains, or we could say any, or not any, let's say var menu item equals menu items dot first or default m.id equals model.id. So if menu item is not equals null, then we know this menu item is on the screen right now. So update the details for this. So what we'll do, we'll simply say menu item dot price equals model dot price, then menu item dot description equals model dot description, menu item dot what else, name equals model dot name. I guess that's all we need to modify. Menu item dot what else we have, icon equals model dot icon. ID is already there, so we don't need to modify it. So now we modified this thing, but right now if we see, this is a part of menu items array, and menu items is just an ordinary array with an observable property. So it is not going to directly modify it. It will only modify the UI when we directly assign something to this menu items. So here what we will do, we will say menu items equals dot menu item. That means we are just reassigning the same array to this so that it can trigger the observable property change and it can update the UI. Right before this, we have modified the things, so it will update it. All right. And I think we should take one more thing in consideration, and that is, what if when we updated the item, that item we changed the category, we removed this from this category, then this item would be right now on the screen, but when we change it, when we remove that category mapping with this item, then they should get removed from the UI, right? Let me show you what I'm saying. I'm running it. So it's here, I'm on manage menu items page. We have added some items somewhere, right? In snacks, desserts, yes, this ice cream. So let's say I'm editing this. Now what I have done, when I was editing it, I removed this dessert. Let's say I have added it in beverages, removed it from dessert, okay, and changed something. At this time if I save it, what it should do, it should update this, but it should remove this item from this left screen, from menu items collection, because now this item does not belong to desserts category. Okay, so if I save it, this item should get removed from here. So let's handle this case here. Inside this, it will be true for this thing. Here we need to check if the updated menu item, check if this item still has a mapping to selected category. Okay, so for this we will simply check if this model dot selected categories dot any c dot id equals selected category dot id. If we have it, we are good. If we don't have it, then we'll do something else. So that something else, we'll check the opposite. So now it is saying there is no category, this current category is not selected inside this model anymore. So here we'll simply say this item no longer belongs to the selected category. Here we'll say remove this item from the current UI menu items list. Okay, For this also we'll simply say menu items equals dot dot, and here we'll say menu items dot where m dot id is not equals model dot id. So here what I did, here I said I am updating this menu item with what menu items dot where m model dot id is not m dot id is not equals to model id. So I'm just removing this current model which we updated. We are not going to have it in the new menu items, so now it will be removed from here, and after this just return from here, don't do anything. Now if that's not the case, if we come here out of this if block, then we know that this item belongs to this category. Then we can simply modify the update the details and reset this menu item so that UI can be updated. And with this we should handle one more case. In that case is, let's say right now if I go to dessert, I added that ice cream to beverages, right? Now, if this is the case, I was on beverages, I clicked on this ice cream, this is in edit mode. And if I go to desserts, right now this ice cream is not here. If I edit mapping to this desserts and if I save it, now left section, this is the current menu items array. So if we are adding any category to the existing menu item, then we will check if this current menu items collection has this category, and if we are modifying or updating any item to this category, we should add this menu item to this category on the current UI. So let's do this as well. After this if case, in that case this if case will fail because this item right now is not on the UI. So we will have an else case, or let's say else if case. Here we'll say model dot selected categories dot any c dot id equals selected category dot id. Now here we are saying this item was not on the UI. We updated the item by adding this currently selected UI, currently selected category. So add this menu item to the current UI menu items list. Okay, so let's add this. For this, what we'll do, we'll simply say menu items equals dot dot menu items. So this we are updating, and then comma, add this model. But this model is not menu item, this is menu item only. Oh, this is not menu item, this is menu item model. Let's create it. New menu item equals new menu item id description icon name price, and let's add this new menu item to this array. So here what we are doing, we are assigning in this menu item destructuring of the current menu items and then adding this new menu item to the same array. And now we are good with this setup. Now let's try it out if all these cases which we discussed are these working. Stop it and rerun. Okay, go to edit, manage menu items page. Ice cream, this is in beverages. Let's click on it. Right now we'll say instead of 2.29, let's say 2.49 and just save it. we can see 2.49, this item got updated. Let's use soft drink 1.99. I'll make it 1.49, and cold soft drinks, let's say I'm adding it as, and then fast food. I'm adding this new category to this. Save. And soft drink 1.49, description got updated. So these things are working. Okay, now let's select soft drinks again. This time I'm going to remove this beverages category from it. This is in beverages. Now if I save it, this item should get removed from this current UI. Save it, and now that item is not here. Now let's do this. I'll go to fast food. Here I have soft drinks. I'll open it in edit mode. Then I'll go back to beverages. Here we don't have this soft drink, but now I will add it to this beverages category. And if I save it, this item should get added to this screen, because right now this belongs to this category. So this is here. That means all this category, all this menu item updation logic is working. So here we are good. Now we just need to somehow pass this logic to this screen and this current order screen. Okay, stop it. So for those things, we have this weak reference messenger. Send the updated menu item details to the other parts of the UI, other parts of the app. Okay, there we will simply receive this weak reference messenger message, and then we'll react to the changes. Okay, so that other part will be home view model, because here we have same list of menu items. We need to have that same logic. Now to receive the message from weak reference messenger, we have two options, two approaches. Okay, one is, what we can do, we can simply say weak reference messenger dot default dot register. Okay, and in this register we can simply type the type of the message. In this case it would be menu item changed message. Okay, then inside this we can have object recipient and then one message handler. So recipient is this only, then this message handler, which is a kind of delegate which will have two items. One will be recipient and the next would be message, and then we can directly use this message here. And second approach is if you don't want to do this like this thing, we have one more option, that is we can simply implement one interface, and that interface is going to be I recipient of type. Here we need to define the add the type of our message, so menu item changed message. And this interface, it has one method, that is void receive t message. Okay, so we need to implement this message. We'll say implement interface, and we will have this one method at the very end. Here we have this menu item changed message. Now we can react to the changes, but before that we need to register it the same way we are registering with this. This time we don't need to use this second parameter in this. So here we will just say weak reference messenger dot default dot register this type of message with this, and that's all. Save it. This got registered. We have this interface from where we got this method, and in here we can have our logic. First thing, let's do this. Was a menu item equals this message dot value, this message dot value, because this is the menu item model, menu item model, this, because this we defined, so this value we defined, this menu item model, this is the value. Okay, now here also we need to do the same thing. So let's go to our manage menu items view model, and we have this method. Let's copy this entire method because the complete logic will be same. We can have it somewhere uh, at some centralized place, but right now let's copy it. Here we have that model, because in this handle one, in this manage menu items view model, the name was model, so we are using model everywhere. So here also let's do this, let's call it model, and we will not have to make any change. All other logic, everything will remain same. Save it, and now we should be good. Save, let's run it. Okay, let's try it out now. Go to the manage menu items, open chocolate, let's change it to 1.49. Okay, save it. Here it is 1.49. Go to the home page. Here also it is 1.49 now. Okay, let's go to some other place as well. Fast food, beverages. We have this ice cream. Okay, let's go to the manage menu items. We have this ice cream. Click on it. Change the icon. Let me choose some other icon. Let's say this Reddit icon. Save it. It got updated here. If I go to the home page, it got updated here as well. And we have this message as well. So all these places are working. But right now this current order, this screen will not work, I guess. What I mean by not work, it will not update this. We have ice cream here. We have ice cream here. Let's go to manage menu items. Click on it. Let's make it 1.49 and save it. Go to the home screen. In here we have 1.49, but in current order items it is still 2.49, but it should have been 1.49. Okay, so let's work on this. This is also on home view model. We have cart items observable collection, right? Cart items. Where is it? This cart items observable collection. We just need to check if that updated item exists in this cart items. If yes, then we'll update it. So in this receive, after doing these menu items change, here we will check var cart item equals cart items dot first or default c dot item id equals model dot id. Here we'll say check if the updated menu item is added in the cart. If yes, update the info in the cart. So here we'll check if cart item is not null. Now we need to update its details. What details? Cart item dot price, cart item dot icon, cart item dot name. These three things we show in the cart. Okay, quantity would be same and everything else would be same. Now doing this, it should update the UI. Why it would update? Because this cart model, this is observable. But beer and coffee, let's open this, edit, go to beer, let's make it 4.49. Save it, come back to home, 4.49, and here 4.9, and it is still not getting updated. The reason is in this home view model, this cart items observable collection is a collection of cart model, and if you go to cart model, here the only observable property is this quantity. Not all other properties are not observable. Okay. So now what we can do, because what we did, we updated these three properties. in our home view model here, but all these three properties are not observable, so it will not trigger UI update. Now we have one option that we can make all these observable, these price, name and icon, using this approach. But there would be one case which will not work with this thing, and that case is going to be, in that case, name, icon, price would be changed, amount would not be changed. In that case, you could say that we can have this thing, notify property change for amount with the price as well, because if we are modifying price, then it will trigger the amount. But using that also, it will modify this current item on the UI, but it will not change the actual that subtotal, tax amount and the total amount. So for that we need to trigger and trigger a change on collection, right? That is how our current implementation is, when we are recalculating amounts when cart items collection is changing. But changing internal properties does not trigger collection change event. It gets triggered only when we add or update anything, or we clear the collection, or we change some item directly, we replace some item. That at that time also it gets changed. But using this approach, that if we modify these items, these things to be observable, then it would not re-trigger the item replace. So for that we need to explicitly replace the item. What we will do here, we'll simply get the index of this item index. It would be cart items dot index of this cart item. To be safe, we can check if this is not equals -1, although this can't be true because we have this cart item. Let's not do this thing then, because we just checked this cart item exists in the collection. So with this item index, what we will say, we'll say cart items item index equals this cart item. So we are actually replacing the item at this index with the same item, with of course these modified properties. Now it will trigger collection changed event for replacing this item, and which will recalculate amount, save it. Okay, let's try it. It should handle both of those cases. Coffee, donut, energy drink. Let's say I have two quantities of four quantities of donut. Energy drink 2.99. Let's go to the manage menu items. Go to energy drink. Make it 2.49. Save it. Got updated it here 2.49. We have toast. Go back to home. Energy drink it 2.49 now, and here also energy drink is 2.49. Okay, and these things, I don't know if it got updated. Let's check. So for donut, we have 1.49, 4 items. Here we have 10.44. Donut, I'll make it just one. Save it. Go back to home. 1, 4, and this item got updated. Price got updated. That means these amounts are calculated correctly. These sections are updating correctly. Okay. Let's check this for tax as well. Let's say I'm applying 10% tax on this. And go back, we have this coffee, so 1.49. I'll make it 1.29. Save it. Go back to home. 1.29 here, and then 7.78, tax is 0.78, 8.56. So it comes to this, and all other things would work same. Now let's check one more thing. Here I have this energy drink of 2.49. I'll go to snacks section, manage menu items, energy drink. I'm making it 1.49. Save it. Now what would happen if I go back to home page? It got updated here, but this item is not on this screen, so it will not update anything here. Okay, that means all these updates are flowing through correctly. All amounts and everything is updating in real time. If we apply and change any item, it will be same. But orders, here will not be any change because these orders are already there. So these items are not going to be changed because after making an order, you can't change anything. This order is done already. Okay, cool. So what next? I guess we have achieved a lot or almost everything, right? Cool. So we have these three pages: home, orders, manage menu items. All these three are done with all the functionalities. Now let's work on this help icon. Right now it is not doing anything. What we will do, we will open a pop-up model for this. When we click on this, we are not going to create a separate page for this. We will just open a pop-up model where we will have simple uh, email and contact number. Okay, for help and support, we'll simply have those things and a copy to clipboard functionality for email and contact number. Okay, so let's do that next. Let's close everything. We are not going to touch these pages now.